Hey guys, my name is Justin Bond.
And I'm Zachary Hall.
Today we are previewing number 8 Arkansas Razorbacks versus number 2 Georgia Bulldogs, who played this weekend in Athens, Georgia. Welcome to Diamond State Sports. Right, so Sam Pittman returning to Athens for the first time since taking the Arkansas job for what is sure to be a gritty, physical, top 10 matchup. Week 5, top 10, Arkansas. It's going great. College game day will be there. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit on the call. And honestly, you listen to the experts, Arkansas has no chance in this game. In fact, Razorbacks opened up as an 18-point underdog in Vegas. But not so fast. Arkansas so far is running well, hitting big plays down the field. We also, like Georgia, like to control games defensively. And so far we've done a good job winning the turnover battle.
Yeah.
So I think that the Hogs have a fighting chance to pull off a big upset for the second week in a row on the road. But there's got to be some things that happen, and a few things might have to go Arkansas's way for that.
Yeah, I mean, last week we heard all week, A&M, the most elite passing defense in the country. Elite, really good. And I'm not taking anything away from Texas A&M, a good football team, but Arkansas is better. And I'm not trying to spend a lot of time on Texas A&M, but let's be honest, everyone that's watching here knows that if KJ's not hurt and we convert a fourth down there in the second quarter, we probably go up 24-0, and it's probably not even close. I don't think that happens this week with Georgia. Georgia is an elite team. That's no joke. We know that. They've got an elite defense. But we just don't know how elite, and it's going to be a good test for Georgia and an excellent test for Sam Pittman and the Razorbacks. Really excited.
Last weekend against Texas A&M, the turnover near the end of the game was huge. Speaking of turnovers, Georgia has given it up 7 times through the first 4 games. And Arkansas, we're probably going to need to come up with a few of those turnovers. Hopefully Georgia gives some up for us to have a good chance.
I think probably, I hate to say this, every Hog fan that's listening, forgive me here, but I think our only chance in this game is if we have the ball roll our way a few times. I think Georgia might be that good, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope they're not, but I think if JT Daniels, we can get maybe a pick or 2 off of him, maybe a fumble here and there, have a few things roll our way, I think go big for us.
And so a lot of that actually leads into our keys to the game. And that first one is protect KJ. Okay, so far, so good. I mean, our offensive line has done a pretty good job of protecting KJ throughout this year. He got a little banged up, but I mean, through 4 games, we've allowed 4 sacks. Obviously, you would like 0, but through 4, not terrible. But Georgia, they have the second most sacks in the SEC with 14 through 4 games. So keeping KJ out of harm's way, especially with, kind of bruised his knee last week. So keeping him out of harm's way will be crucial to Arkansas's ability to not only move the football, but keep it out of the hands of the Bulldogs offense.
I think last week, well, every week, we've kind of proved that KJ is a little bit more important than I think some people thought for this offense. He's a stud. He's big. He doesn't go down usually on the first contact. I will say, Georgia has a lot of sacks, but they also haven't, they played Clemson. I'm not here to talk about Clemson, but we do luckily.
Zach?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Clemson. They only lost 2 games.
Myron Cunningham, Dalton Wagner, both senior leaders, on this offense, and I think we'll fare well in that regard. I just don't know how well. And this is something we're going to find out at noon or 11 or whatever here on Saturday. But they've got a quick, twitchy defense for sure.
And something I think that helps with protecting KJ is KJ himself. His speed, his quickness, his power, and his overall escapability. It really does help out our offensive line. He is our second leading rusher on the team, 230 yards, 32 carries. But like last week kind of proved in that third quarter, if he goes, we go. I mean, I love Malik Hornsby. Bright future.
Really bright future.
I think he really proved to all of Razorback Nation last week that while he is going to be an elite quarterback, there's a reason KJ starting. KJ belongs at QB1 right now.
Malik will have his turn.
And we are going to need KJ. We're going to need him at full speed, and we're going to need him fully recovered from the injury. Like I said, it's a bruised knee because Georgia's going to be coming after him.
Georgia's going to be coming after him, and so far this year, outside of B.J. Foster's interception for Texas, that was just an athletic play, guys. That's just a playmaker making a play. He's taking care of the ball. I don't think he's fumbled the ball, KJ. I don't think he's fumbled the ball once. I'd have to look back on that. I know that the only interception I think that he's thrown was B.J. Foster in the Texas game. Done a good job of taking care of the ball. We need that to maintain it against Georgia because, guys, Georgia's one of those teams where if you make mistakes, they're going to capitalize. This is not Rice. It's not Georgia Southern. They're going to capitalize on every mistake we make. So,
one thing that we definitely need to improve on, especially against Georgia, third down conversions.
Yeah.
We have to get better at third down. We are one of the worst in the SEC. Only Vanderbilt. Thank you, Vanderbilt. It's worse at converting third downs.
I love Vanderbilt.
35.3% of the time. So just over a third. We're 18 for 51 so far this year. That's not going to get it done Saturday. Because to make matters worse, Georgia's defense, of course, number one
on third down
at allowing opponents to convert. Just 28.1%. 16 for 57.
Not allowing.
Yeah, they are allowed. They only allow
28.1.
Yeah, so make that clear. Their defense, our offense is only converting at 35% of the time.
Yeah.
Their defense only allows 28% conversions. We're going to have to do that. We're going to have to keep the ball. I think one of the best ways to worry or to, I guess, not have to worry about our third down conversion percentage is to not be in third down situations. And that kind of goes into my next key, big plays. They have been a key to our success so far this year. We've had 24 plays of 20 yards or more. We will need those against Georgia. And it's not going to be so easy to rip them off and get those big gains against one of the best defenses in the SEC, arguably the best, depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So while those big plays have been a big part of the Razorbacks offense, accomplishing them against Georgia will not be an easy feat, but will be a big key.
Yeah, if we're not able to move the ball, I think first of all, running the ball is going to be really important. We've got a good stable of backs that can move the ball, and I think we will. I regardless of what people think, I think we'll be able to move the ball some. I just don't know to what extent. I think we'll, as far as throwing the ball too, we've got enough playmakers I think to throw the ball as well. But we got to move the ball. I've got faith in our defense. I know Georgia has a good defense too, but it's whatever offense produces is going to win this game.
Run the ball effectively.
Run the ball effectively.
That was my fourth key to the game.
Yeah, sounds like we led into
We have had 200 yards, over 200 yards on the ground every game except for Texas A&M.
Yeah.
They held us to 197. Yeah. Over 200 yards a game every time. We will need that again. Yeah. We're going to need a big game from the running backs, and that is easier said than done. Because once again, keep leading back to this. Georgia has one of the top rushing defenses in the SEC. So the offensive line for Arkansas definitely has its work cut out for it.
Yeah. And let's address the elephant in the room. We already did a little bit. Looking at Georgia's schedule, they've played Vanderbilt, they've played UAB,
South Carolina,
and
then started with Clemson.
Nothing against South Carolina. I'm sure they're working hard over there. I don't think they're quite there just yet. And Clemson, that was week one. It's hard to judge off week one games. We looked terrible in the first half against Rice.
Yeah.
Teams struggle in week one a lot. But let's be honest. When it comes to these teams in week one and transitioning. People can say what they want. Well, they haven't played nobody. Yeah, you're right. They haven't played a whole lot of people, but they've taken care of business.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's Vandy or not. They beat Vandy 62-0. That's an SEC team.
Yeah.
So they're for real. Any Arkansas fan who doesn't think they are, I promise, they're real. We're gonna find out how real Arkansas is. And I can't wait.
Yeah, Vandy still they didn't squeak out any points. And I know that we were watching the South Carolina game, the highlights. There were some turnovers, on Georgia's side. They still took care of business.
I think there was more Georgia fans than Vandy fans at that game.
Probably. And there was going to be a lot.
This is not a Bash Vandy episode. I'm sorry, Vandy fans.
Hey, right at 2 weeks ago when they released our schedule, we were excited for 11 a.m. kickoff, our time, noon there. That usually bodes well for the road teams in big matchups. And then Arkansas went and beat Texas A&M, and College Game Day is like, hey, let's set up camp in Athens. And it's just all week. You've just heard the coaches and the players from Georgia saying, come out, fans, come out, come out, come out. I mean, it's probably going to be a packed house even with a noon kickoff.
Yeah. I do think, and we've spoke about this several times now, just not in front of the camera, it is huge that this is an 11 a.m. kickoff for us here, noon there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's massive for Arkansas, and you can't convince me otherwise because the atmosphere is just different in these 6 or 7 o'clock kickoff games.
Mm-hmm.
The fans have time to get rowdy all day, whether it's by drinking alcohol or just taking spirit in. They have all day to juice up. It's just different. I don't care what anyone says. That's a huge plus for Arkansas. I know Kirby Smart is nervous about it. I would be too. If I was Kirby Smart, I'd be nervous too.
I mean, I've went to a ton of Razorback games. I mean, I've always enjoyed, night games, even midday games.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can be on campus and there's just more time. There's more time to tailgate.
It's not right to have 11 a.m.
Petition for no 11 a.m. kickoffs. Just kidding. We want this.
Yeah.
But my last key to the game is we have to pressure JT Daniels. They are going to pressure KJ. We have to pressure their quarterback, JT Daniels. And I don't think it's going to be as easy as rushing 3 like we did against Texas A&M.
No.
So we need to keep Georgia's offense in check. Our defense needs to keep Georgia's offense in check because their defense is going to try to keep ours in check. And we must make JT Daniels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We want him to get out of that pocket. I know Georgia also has one of the best offensive lines in the SEC. But it's really going to be up to Odom to really devise a scheme that will work against one of Georgia's main strengths in their offensive line. Because people talk about Georgia's defense all the time for good reasons. There are a lot of studs. I mean, like South Carolina coach said, they got 105 stars on their line.
Yeah, probably not something you should be saying.
Well, yeah, Well, when you lose.
Yeah.
Your first year coach, Their offensive line is also great.
Yeah.
They still have a lot of people that Sam Pittman recruited. I mean, this is only his second year at Arkansas. He built up that offensive line, and so those upperclassmen were recruited and are at Georgia due to Pittman.
Yeah.
And now, Pittman is going against them. Odom is going against them with our defense.
Yeah, Kirby Smart said this week, the thing about Barry Odom that really sucks, he didn't say it just quite like that, but, the thing that's hard is he makes you play left-handed. That's one thing about Barry Odom I think everyone can agree with, is he makes life difficult for offense. That's why he's so good. And I have no doubt that they'll have a game plan for Georgia, just like we have every game. We'll just see how many tricks he has up his sleeve. So,
all right, picks.
You lead off.
Arkansas hasn't given me anything to bet against them. I mean,
I agree.
You go to the casino, a machine keeps spitting out money. Why not put your money in it?
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be defensive. Vegas says Georgia's going to win by 18. I'm going to say Georgia won't even score 18. 17-20 Arkansas.
Okay. I'm going to go with 17-14 Arkansas. I'm kind of with you, Justin. I have no reason to root against my Hogs, pick against my Hogs. This is not the same team from a couple years ago. Kirby Smart, not trying to reference and copyright him, but he said earlier this week, this is not the same Arkansas from last year. We're not even close. I think we have a real chance. It's going to be tough. We'll have to play a mistake-free football game, but I'm going to say 17-14 Arkansas. I think we squeeze out a field goal at the end. Cam Little come home to win 5-0.
Hey.
Maybe rank number 1 in the country after.
Boy,
just kidding.
Hey,
I don't know.
we won't get there.
Yeah, let's not get there.
So, guys, be sure to leave us a comment. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Diamond State Sports. Subscribe to us here on YouTube. Let us know how we're doing. And leave your score predictions in.
Comment those score predictions. We really like that. Get involved. We really appreciate it, guys. We're having a lot of fun.
We appreciate the likes, the shares, and the follows. And we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.